What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We've got another really interesting World Cup slate today, and this is the kind of card where you can actually find some value if you're willing to look past the obvious results and focus on the game states. A few teams here are already under pressure, a few are trying to build on winning starts, and a couple of these matchups have that real tournament feel where one mistake can change everything. That usually creates a better betting environment because motivation matters a lot more at this stage. So let's get into the games. First up, the United States against Australia. This is a really good early matchup because both teams already have 3 points on the board, which means there's a little bit of freedom here, but there's also a lot at stake. The USA come in as the stronger side for me, especially at home, and I think that matters in a game like this. Australia's opening win was impressive, but I still think the performance had a lot to do with game plan and efficiency rather than total control. They absorbed pressure, stayed disciplined, and got the job done. That's fine when it works, but against a team like the USA, I think they'll be under a lot more sustained pressure. The United States have real quality in the squad. They can hurt teams in a few different ways, and if Pulisic is fit and available, that gives them another layer going forward. They also tend to be involved in games with goals, which is something I like here. If Australia sit as deep as they did in the opener, I think the USA find a way through. If Australia come out a little more open now that they've got points in the bag, then I think that also plays into the Americans having more space. So for me, my best pick is USA to win. I also like the USA to have the corner edge if Australia spend a lot of time defending. One thing I'd keep an eye on here is the foul market and the wider attacking areas. Australia are likely to spend a lot of time under pressure, and that usually creates foul opportunities for the forward line. If you want a scoreline, I'd lean 3-1 USA. Now to the game I'm most interested in, Scotland against Morocco. This is the featured game for me because it has that real tension to it. Scotland have a chance to make history, Morocco are trying to protect their momentum, and both teams know this one could decide everything in the group. Morocco are the better team on paper. They've got more balance, more control in midfield, and they look more comfortable in the type of tournament football where details matter. But Scotland are not going to make this easy. They're going to bring energy, they'll try to make it scrappy, and I think that makes the cards market very live. The interesting part here is whether Scotland can actually score. Morocco's defensive shape is very strong, and if they settle into the game early, they can make it really hard for Scotland to create clear chances. That's why I think the safest angle is probably leaning Morocco and not forcing anything too wild. For me, my best pick is Morocco to win. I could definitely see this being a match where Scotland try to keep it tight and Morocco still find a way to get the breakthrough. If I had to give a scoreline, I'd go 2-0 Morocco. One player area I like here is fouls and cards. Scotland's wide defenders and Morocco's attacking fullbacks could get into a lot of battles, and those usually show up early in a tournament game like this. I also think both teams to score is not impossible, but my stronger lean is still Morocco controlling the match. Brazil versus Haiti. Next up, Brazil and Haiti. This is the kind of game where the question isn't really who wins, it's how many Brazil score. They are massive favorites and should handle this comfortably, even without Neymar. Honestly, I don't think they need him to get the job done here. Haiti are going to be fighting for their tournament life, but that usually only gets you so far when the talent gap is this wide. Brazil should control the ball, create chances early, and slowly wear the game down. The thing I like most here is Brazil's ability to score more than once in the second half. That's often where the gap really shows up in games like this. The first half can be a little cagey if the underdog keeps everyone behind the ball, but once the legs go and the substitutions start coming in, Brazil can really open it up. So for this one, my best pick is Brazil to win. I also like Brazil to score multiple goals and Brazil's second half scoring. I'd also expect Haiti to pick up the most cards. When a team is spending that much time under pressure, the discipline usually breaks down at some point. My scoreline lean here is 4-0 Brazil. Last game, Turkey and Paraguay. This is a huge one because both teams already dropped points in the opener, which puts the pressure right on them from the start. When you get into a game like this, nobody wants to be the team that loses twice in a row, so I expect a pretty tense, competitive match with both sides feeling like they need to make a statement. Turkey were probably a little unfortunate in their first game. They had the better attacking moments, they spent long stretches on the front foot, and they created enough to feel like they should have got something from it. The issue was finishing the chances. They didn't turn control into goals, and that's what makes the next game so important. But I'm not eager to fade them just because the result didn't go their way. Paraguay, on the other hand, were much shakier in their opener. They looked disjointed, especially in the first half, and while they did settle down a little later on, they still never really looked fully connected as a team. That's a concern heading into a matchup like this, because Turkey are the kind of side that can punish hesitation and poor defensive shape. What I like about Turkey here is that they should be the more proactive team. They should be the side pushing the tempo, creating the better chances, and spending more time in the dangerous areas of the pitch. If they repeat the kind of pressure they showed in the opener, the goals should come eventually. Sometimes in tournaments, a team only needs one decent game plan to click and turn frustration into results. I also think Turkey should have the edge in shot volume. They were active in the final third last time out, and if that continues, it usually leads to breakthrough moments, especially against a side that already looked vulnerable. Paraguay are going to have to defend for long stretches again, and that usually wears teams down over 90 minutes. So for this one, my best pick is Turkey to win. My scoreline prediction is 2-0 Turkey. That feels like the most natural read if Turkey play anywhere near the level they showed in the opener, but this time finish the job. So to wrap it up, here's how I'm looking at today's World Cup slate. USA to win. USA to score. Scotland versus Morocco. Morocco to win. Cards to show up in Scotland versus Morocco. Brazil to win. Brazil to score more than once in the second half. Haiti to pick up the most cards. Turkey to win. Turkey to score more than once. This is the part of the tournament where you really start separating the teams that can handle the moment from the teams that start tightening up when the pressure rises. That's what makes these group games so interesting from a betting point of view, because motivation, mentality, and game states start to matter just as much as raw talent. Some teams keep rolling because they're confident and structured. Some teams get tense and stop playing with the same freedom. And some teams just get dragged into those slower, grinded out matches where every chance feels huge. That's usually where the best betting spots lie, because the market doesn't always fully price in how much pressure can change a game. So that's where I'm landing today. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with somebody who's betting these games tonight. It helps the channel a lot, and it lets me keep bringing you these daily picks and breakdowns. And I'll catch you in the next one.